I want to thank Heidi for inviting me today. My name is Jennifer Thorson. I am the National Account Manager for Tauck in the Southeast. And working with Heidi is a joy. She's definitely a travel professional. And I'll talk a little bit more about working with her at the end of this presentation. But she asked me today to talk about Botswana. But before I talk about our Botswana itinerary, I would specifically like to go into details about Tauck and who we are, in case some of you are not familiar with us. So if you're ready, let's go. So here we are. Okay, voila. So no matter where you go, travel should always be inspirational, but we have the opportunity to make it transformative. And trust me, if you journey to Botswana with us, it will be transformative. I took this picture and it's still in my mind. We went 7 years ago, and if I could go back on this trip, I would, and maybe I will. I did not use a filter on this. It's something else. So it's we're always looking for the best way to show you a destination, no matter where in the world we travel. And our quality is consistent no matter what we do. Everything that we do, we're looking at the very best way. We go to a place before we develop the itinerary and we say, if our guests are spending 1 or 2 days here, what would they see and how would they like to see it the best? And then that's what we design. For every single one of our itineraries, we have a tour director like Susan that's trained and knowledgeable and is truly going to teach you about the destination. When I started at Tauck in 1996, I was a tour director too. So for every new trip that I learned, I did 2 complete training tours. That meant that I shadowed somebody who had been running that trip for a long time. I learned about the culture and the history, but I also learned about where the motor coach should park and where to buy tickets and how much walking there was and all the logistical things. And then Tauck would assign me that same itinerary for a good portion of the season. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because not everybody trains tour directors, and most companies don't have a tour director with them on a safari. We have a tour director with us on every single itinerary that we do. So for me, when I did the same trips over and over and over, like the week in France, I would start in Nice, finish in Paris. When I'd be done with my guests in Paris, I get on a plane and I fly back to Nice and I meet a new group. And I do it again. And then when I got to Paris, I fly back and I do it again and again and again. And it made me learn so much about the destination, of course, but also I knew the little things. Like if somebody asked me in Paris where there's an ATM, I could say, there's a couple within walking distance, but I'd stay away from that one over there because it ate my guest card on the last trip. Or if somebody had dietary concerns, the people in the restaurants, the people in the hotels were my friends because I was there all the time. And they would give my guests, whatever it is that they could, because we had that kind of relationship. So it's really important. I know there's tons of safari companies out there, and Africa is the most, to me, amazing, transformative destination. And I don't think anybody would ever come back from any safari in Africa and say, "Nah." I think you come back and you're so wowed by the destination. But the way you see the destination is really important too. And I know even some of those extremely high-end safari companies, they don't have a tour director with them. And a lot of times they're asking our tour director, do you know where I'm supposed to be? Or where am I supposed to meet? Or do you know how to get me that? Because there's nobody that they can identify with. So we have that. It's easy. They're taking care of you. They're not selling you a thing. With Tauck, all the sightseeing is included. My 10 years of being a Tauck guide, not once did I ever sell anything to anybody. So I say, go see Heidi. If you choose a trip, you hand over your credit card, say, take the Band-Aid off quickly, and you're done. We're not selling you anything. We take care of all the little things like transfers, regardless of how you get to the destination. We're going to pick you up and take you back to the airport. So you can book the flights through us if you choose to, but you don't have to if you have frequent flyer points or whatever you'd like to do. Just get there and let us know what your schedule is, and we'll make sure to pick you up. You don't have to touch your bags. Your bags will be in your room. They'll be in your next room. They'll be in your next room, nice and easy. When we landed in I think it was Cape Town. We were going from Botswana to Cape Town, and we saw this other very well-known travel company with two letters, and they were all hauling their bags. And I thought, oh my God, they have to haul their bags. We have the bags taken care of. You guys don't have to haul your own bags. The hotels that we choose are always the best located and best quality within the location. And this trip is certainly no exception. 27 and a half years of being with Tauck. Oh my God, I've been spoiled. And some of the hotels on this trip absolutely were some of my favorites. So always looking to show you the destination in the easiest way, and taking care of all the logistics is what we do. This is our, do you see this transit lounge on one of our flights? This was our where we sat and we waited for the plane. It was a private plane. It was a small one. You know, it accommodated just our small group. I think we had 15 guests. Easy peasy. Yeah, we go out in those Camaros and these dugout canoes. And there's a lot of fun stuff in that water. I'll show you some pictures in a moment. If you're not familiar with us, Tauck is a family-run company. We've been in business since 1925. What does that mean? That means big, big, big celebration next year. And it is well-deserved. You know, for a company that doesn't advertise to be in business this long, we're on the third generation of the Tauck family. It really is a testament to what we're able to do and provide for our guests. The company philosophy has been the same since 1925, and that is always do the right thing. If you come up to our office in Connecticut, you'll see TAUCK is spelled out like an acronym. T is trust and A is always do the right thing. That means we know if we take care of our guests, everything else will fall into place. And that's exactly what happens. The company has never been motivated by profits as the number one priority. It's always been take care of the guests. I think about this and I think about the family and their philosophy and what has happened to the travel industry in the last few years. And I would encourage you, no matter how you travel, to ask Heidi, your travel professional, how her clients were treated during the pandemic. I know I heard about some companies that didn't give people their money back. They gave them a credit, a limited credit, or they could only use it on certain things. You know, think about those things. We want to make sure our guests feel whole if something doesn't go right. So they come back to us and they'll spread the word. But more importantly, our trips all over the globe, they're with a Tauck stamp. The family name is on everything. So we want to make sure that you're taken care of. You have a good time, you come back and you tell somebody about it. And that's really how we've grown since 1925. You know, we know that the other companies spend millions of dollars in advertising. We know where that money comes from. What do you feel you get for it? We feel if we put more into the experience, then you'll come back and you'll say, wow, and you want to go again, and you'll tell somebody. And we have a very high repeat factor, and people go again and again and again. When they send myself and my colleagues up to our office in Connecticut, they usually share all kinds of things with us, you know, new cabins on river cruises and new destinations and new hotels and all kinds of things. And one metric stays in my head, and it's always around 96, 97. And at the end of every Tauck journey, you get a comment card. And at the bottom, it says, based on this experience, would you travel with us again? That number at the end of a season, at the end of a year, is always about 96 or 97% of our guests say, absolutely, I will go back. And they do again and again and again. We win all kinds of awards. One thing that we're extremely proud of as well is we've been on the World's Best Travel and Leisure for the last 26 years. And we're very high on the Net Promoter Scale. If you're not familiar with the Net Promoter Scale, that is how often something is recommended on the internet. So it could be TripAdvisor, Yelp, you know, those kinds of sites. Our score is higher than Amazon, it's higher than Apple, and it's higher than Google. So yeah, we're very proud of what we've achieved in the last 99.2 years. So we have these 4 ways to travel. World Discovering encompasses our land programs. So that would be North America, Europe, and our more exotic destinations. We partner with some small ship cruise companies like Windstar, like Silversea, like Ponant, and we do programs where we build the sightseeing and we include everything. We have a multi-generational program, which is called Bridges. And we also have Tauck River cruises. We have 9 Tauck River boats. And again, with those, you land at the airport. You don't have to spend a penny till you get back to the airport. Lots of exclusive, fabulous experiences like going to Monet's Gardens before they open and doing things that you wouldn't be able to do on your own. But today we're going to talk about Africa. We have 10 itineraries, 10 safari programs in Africa. I want you to take a look at the continent. Most people don't understand how enormous the continent of Africa is. Think about this. The entire continent of the US can fit in the continent, plus half of Europe. Look at most of Europe. You have all of India and most of China, and you can also have the UK in Madagascar. So think about this. It's huge. We're thinking of just a small part of Africa. Most safaris are either in Kenya, Tanzania, they might go to Rwanda for the gorillas, or in South Africa. So this would be South Africa, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Botswana. And to me, there's no place on the planet like Botswana. So let's look at some pictures. Our itinerary starts in Livingstone in Zambia. And that's where we get to see, everybody knows, Victoria Falls. And it's right on the border of Zimbabwe, the Zambezi River. So we go from Livingstone to Chobe. We do game drives. We stay at the 2 non-camp hotels are at the beginning and at the end, Livingstone and in Cape Town. So we drive, we do safari, we do game drive, we see the falls, we do, game drive. And then we go to Chobe. We stay in Chobe for 2 nights. Then we go to, oh my God, Eagle Island. If you choose to do this, it will leave an impression in your head probably for the rest of your life. 7 years later, I'm still thinking of those sunsets and the magic of being on Eagle Island. Yes, it's somewhere else. You have the salt flats and the Okavango Delta and the scenic beauty. And then we fly you over and down to Cape Town. So we have a couple nights in each hotel, and then we go to Cape Town and we have 3 nights in Cape Town. So let's see some of these pictures here. So we start out, we get picked up at the airport, taken over to the river, and we take a water safari, well, actually just a water boat ride over to the dock here at our hotel. And yes, there could be zebras on the lawn. Yeah, it's not like at home. Trust me. One day I was having my breakfast and a monkey came over to the table and picked up my banana. Unfortunately, I didn't get a picture, but that was one of the monkeys that I saw on this trip. But there was another one too, and I'll tell you about him. So the first day of sightseeing, we will have a little trek. It's not strenuous, a little trek to go out and see the rhinos. Pretty cool. I took these pictures. I took most of these pictures on this program. And yeah, we got up pretty close. We're with a guide. He's got either a stick or a gun. He knows the mentality. So he tells us how far to go and where not to go. But it was pretty cute to see the little guy right next to the mama. And then we go to Victoria Falls. Yes, you can see the spray from the falls from our hotel. We walk around a bit. We see the river and the amazing water. And then we get to see the falls pretty close up, as close as you can be. So it's pretty amazing and certainly a sight to behold. So from there, we do quite a few water safaris. We have a larger boat that's private that we have lunch on, and we see all kinds of amazing nature. Lots of elephants in and out of the water. I never saw an elephant in the water until here. I've done a safari in East Africa, and East Africa is very different than Botswana, Zambia, and South Africa. Very different. We stay at camps like this in Chobe, and you have the opportunity right off of your camp to look for wildlife right here on your deck. I took these pictures from my deck. So yeah, you don't even have to go out on safari to catch the animals. It's pretty amazing. This is what the safari vehicles look like. And we went in May. So that was an earlier time of the year for most safaris, but it was fabulous. It wasn't crowded at all. The thing about going to like Botswana and some of these places, you can go off the road. In East Africa, you are in the national parks and you have to stay on the road. But when you're in private game preserves, you don't have to stay on the road. So you can follow and chase animals if you see them, and it's pretty amazing. I did want to tell you, we went in May, and in the morning it was cold. It was really chilly, but they gave us these huge, they were jackets, but they were like winter jackets, and they were long and they acted as like huge blankets. So they really kept us warm until the sun and the heat of the day started warming up. Every morning after a game drive, we would stop around 10 in the morning because, you know, we might be thirsty, we might be hungry, we might have to have a loo break. And yeah, they had all kinds of stuff that they brought for us to have a little beverage or a little snack. And it was truly a treat. This is the camp on Eagle Island. This is a tented camp. So you have hardwood floors, you've got fancy everything. You've got mosquito netting. You don't really need it. We do put on like insect repellent every day, but I don't think I saw any bugs. I'm just telling you what I saw. You can do whatever you'd like to do, but I really didn't see any bugs, not noticeable anyway. I'm in Florida, and there are far more mosquitoes here than I've ever seen in Africa in my two safaris. But this was a pretty fancy tented camp. So we had an indoor shower, an outdoor shower, and a tub that probably would have held 5 people if, you know, we had 5 people to jump in it. It was pretty amazing. This is the deck on that room that I just showed you. So everybody has their own private plunge pool. One day I was here and I was watching the elephants just waiting this in the salt marsh, and a monkey came over and I got up to get my camera and I scared him off. I don't know if he was going to jump in, but he could have been. You know, it was something else. It was really outworldy. So here we are, Eagle Island. It's not accessible very easily. You have to fly in and fly out, but it is amazing. And yes, we do water safaris from here. Eagles everywhere and water safaris where you see all kinds of wildlife. Look at this guy right here that they're looking at. And there's all kinds of stuff in the water. Like what? Ooh, like hippos. Yeah, can you imagine? Pretty cool. So there's the departure lounge. We get on the plane and we fly again, and we fly to Camp Kalahari. This camp is small and it only accommodates us. I think there are 9 tents and there are a max of 18 guests on this trip. When you go to bed, it's pretty funny. So this is half of the room. The other half of the room is on the other half of the tent where your shower is and your sink and everything. But when you go to bed, you might feel something furry, and it's not an animal, it's a hot water bottle because the tent isn't heated, but they have this hot water bottle inside so to make sure that you stay warm. It seemed like, I don't know how many evenings, but we had local entertainment under the stars. And these Africans were so proud to do their traditional dance in their traditional clothes, and they were just so happy to do that. And it was just, I don't know, it was such a cultural exchange for us. It's such a beautiful setting that it, again, it's something that you won't forget. It really is. If you're wondering about what kind of food there is, I'm going to tell you that I'm one of the most picky persons on the planet. I'm not sure my husband likes to go out to dinner with me, but there was always something I could find that I liked. A lot of times there's a buffet, so you can choose, but then many times there's also, you choose off the menu and you'll have many choices. So I didn't go hungry, and I'm just telling you, it's just, this is like a highlight of your life if you could do this trip, and you'll never forget it. Trust me, you'll never forget it. So yeah, the wildebeest. I just love the wildebeest and the glow, the sunsets that we had, something else, really something else. All kinds of animals. Do you know what this is called? The gazelle. It's called the McDonald's the uh, of a safari of the desert. Why? Because there's like, it looks like the M from the McDonald's painted on his butt. And it's also that everybody eats him. That's why they call him the McDonald's of the savannah. There's wild dogs, there's all kinds of animals that you will see, and you'll say, wow, you just never expected that. So several water safaris, one at sunset, one at dawn. I just love the natural beauty all over the place. The sunsets. One night we had, they call them sundowners. We had drinks. We had a happy hour out overlooking the salt pans, and the sunset was just magnificent. The glow of the sunset, the wildebeest, everything. I didn't need alcohol to make me high, really. I was high enough as it was. It was just a spectacular setting. Zebras, giraffe, hyenas, and yes, the elusive leopard. I did an entire safari in East Africa, and one of the big five that we didn't see was the leopard, but we got to see him in Botswana. And to me, it was truly a treat. He was so cute too. So this is a different perspective. If you take a look, this is not from a boat or canoe. This is from the air. Yes. So one of the highlights of this trip is a helicopter ride over the Okavango Delta, which would be fine if you didn't mind heights. And if you didn't mind heights, you might be okay with no doors on the helicopter, so you could take lots of pictures. Well, I might be a person that liked heights, so I was like this most of the time, but I did this and I took these pictures, and it was truly amazing to get these pictures of the elephants and and the hippos from above. Look at all those hippos. Truly amazing. They had no idea that we were up above watching them. Something else. It truly is. This guy, he was a guide, a local guide with us, and he wanted to make sure that we knew everything. And I don't know if you see what he's holding in his hand. It's called scat. I think you know what it is. We call it something else that starts with an S and ends with a T in this country. And he's trying to ask which one comes from a giraffe, which one comes from an elephant, because we really need to know these things. We should not leave Africa without knowing these things. We went to a local village, and the people were so kind. But one of my favorite things was walking with the sand bushmen. There are about 130 of these villagers left, and they truly are something else. Very happy people. They have little to no belongings, and they're nomadic, and it's just something else to see how these people live and how different their lives are. But they have this inner joy, and that's something to behold. Look at this baby and the little papooch. Love it. And the meerkats. Yeah, it's kind of funny. We didn't see the meerkats initially. And then that guy that I just showed you, the guide, he went out early one morning and he found them and he brought us to see them because he knew we wanted to see them. And they're just so cool. You can actually sit down and they won't bother you and you won't bother them. It's pretty neat. Then we fly to Cape Town and reality comes back because this is a big city. It's the most vibrant city in South Africa. And when you take a look, it is an amazingly breathtaking beauty, city of scenic beauty. It truly is. So we go up to Table Mountain, and you have the chance to take the tram up there and spend some time and turn around. And then we go down to the Cape of Good Hope. The entire ride there was just spectacular. This is a picture, these are pictures that I took at the Cape of Good Hope, just something else, you know, just dramatic scenery everywhere you look. Something else. Oh, there's my husband and myself at the Cape of Good Hope. We went out to see the penguins. We did a cruise to go see the seals, and we saw some penguins. Pretty cool. And then the very last night, we had a farewell dinner, and the dinner was at a home of a private chef. He's a very well known locally, and his house was like it should be on HGTV. It was like out of Architectural Digest. It was fancy, it was gorgeous, it was great food, and it was just such a nice send off to our amazing journey through South Africa, Botswana, and Zambia. So I wanted to introduce you to Heidi if you're not that familiar with her. This is Heidi, and she works for a travel host company called Oasis. She can book your travel to Botswana, anywhere Tauck goes, or pretty much anything that you'd like to do. She'll advise you on what she thinks is in your best interests, where she knows that her customers come back happy and aren't nickeled and dimed for things, and are also taken care of. If something goes wrong, that you'll be taken care of. Now, Tauck never, ever discounts. The price in the brochure is the price in the brochure. But if you are interested in this or any other Tauck journey, and you go call Heidi or send her an email within the next month, we'll offer you a free night. That would be either the first hotel or the last hotel. That would be up to you, which one you choose to do. My preference, you might want to go in a day early just to make sure you get there, because it's a long flight. My suggestion might be to break up the flight. That's what I do. I usually fly through Amsterdam, stay overnight in Amsterdam, and then continue on, or wherever your flight is connecting. You might want to do that after the first flight, the flight across the pond. Or yeah, you can. But my other suggestion is, at the end of this trip, you're in Cape Town. And because you can't do everything in 12 days, I would recommend to stay on a day if you like wine and go out to Stellenbosch and some of the vineyards, because it's beautiful. And it's so easy to do on your own. You can just get a driver from the hotel, or Heidi can arrange it for you. And it's just very easy. Just spend an extra night and then leave for home the next day. So that's my suggestion. Now, I'm looking in the chat. I don't see any questions, but I'd love to know if you have any questions. Let me know. Anybody? I guess not. Okay, well, I thank you all very much for joining me today. And if you have any questions about this trip or about any Tauck programs, please let Heidi know. She'll get in touch with me, and we'll find out the answers for you. I wish you all safe and happy travels, and hope to see you on a Tauck journey one day soon. Hopefully, whoops, there's a question. Yay, I will take a look. Oh, you finished a tour to Asia. Thank you, with us. Thank you. I wonder if it was Cambodia, Thailand, Vietnam, or Bali and Singapore. I don't know, but yes, thank you. I'm glad. Thank you, Carol, very much, because that's me. I get paid to say all these good things about Tauck, but with Todd, okay, yeah. You know what? Our trips they're really an experience of a lifetime. And if you have the opportunity to go, I strongly encourage it. And like I told you, I've been on many Tauck journeys. I can't tell you how many, having been a tour director. Before that, I worked on small cruise ships. I've been around the globe, and this is one of my utmost, very favorite itineraries, this Botswana program. It's something else. So I would strongly encourage anybody that's thinking about doing this, absolutely, it will not disappoint. All right. Thank you all very much. Be safe. Thank you. Take care.